DBD's latest PTB is gonna change the future of Dead by Daylight forever. New map, new killer, and a bunch of changes the community's been begging for, and changes we didn't ask for, but we low-key needed. I'm sorry, but you butthurt survivors that give up on Hook deserve to sit there the whole time. Well, this change is stupid because what if I want to play against Twixtor? Well, I don't think the employed Wraith main wants to go against your Sabo bully squad either. I guess it's time for you to bring slippery meat. The main thing in this PTB is just Springtrap, the newest killer, and I'm not one to say nerf or buff anything before it even comes out. I mean, like, look at Sub-Zero and MK1. But I have some observations, so let's get into them. First thing I want to mention is he's a 4.4 killer since he does have a ranged attack that can injure and down. But do y'all know he goes 4.6 when he doesn't have his axe? That means Huntress's iridescent add-on, or whatever the new name is in his base kit. Don't get me wrong, he can't steamroll a team the way a cracked Huntress can. He only has one hatchet after all, but her iridescent add-on being in his base kit is friggin' hilarious. Not saying it's busted because when he's 4.6, he's literally just like Trapper without any traps. He's pretty easy to loop. And I'm not saying it's strong, it's actually very, very needed, but hopefully Huntress can have some add-on adjustments eventually and like down the line. His axe also has like a 7-second cooldown, which is okay. He doesn't have to reload, which is nice. And his axe flies insanely fast, so the anti-loop pressure is actually really, really good. It also has a bit of skill ceiling, so if you're going against the trash Afton, you're really going to be able to tell. His add-ons are also very nice. It's not as bland and boring as Wraith, where it's like the higher up you go in rarity, it does the same fucking thing but with higher numbers. And for a killer who has Call of Duty Dead Silence in his base kit, his stealth out of teleporting is super good and it lasts a while, and he barely makes any noise when walking. No clue why Dredge can't have something like that, where after he teleports he just gets a little bit of stealth. Matter of fact, teleporting is like Dredge's main thing. So how come Afton can TP after walking up to a door that spawns right next to him so he can teleport off rip, but Dredge has to wait like 10-15 seconds to teleport off the beginning of the match? Dredge should be able to teleport off rip. Like, I don't know why he doesn't. Maybe like a 5-second cooldown so survivors can split up. But anyways, back to Afton. It's mainly a mechanic that will be a noob stomper, the stealth after teleporting, and you could catch a good survivor off guard. And yeah, his stealth is pretty actually fun. You have to look around and be ready for him, or he's just gonna fucking jump scare you. I also think his Mori is sick. I love it. I can't believe people really don't like his Mori. People just be complaining too much, not gonna lie. Yeah, we all wanted him to spring lock the survivors, but you know how long that Mori would take? So yeah, I'm glad with what we have. And he has literally no cooldown on his teleport, which is high key very strong, but the survivors are also able to TP, so I guess it evens out a bit, because like imagine if the survivors could like cloak against Wraith. Using cameras against Afton reveals him to your whole team in white for a little while, and it seems like that shit also works through walls. This is so tough, and it's fun to have another side objective that's actually like useful. However, if you're looking at him through the cameras, then he's most likely already chasing somebody, and you don't really need wall hacks while you're getting chased by him, because he's kind of like 8 feet tall, so you can pretty much see him no matter where you are looping. That's for the most part. In some places like Shack, the wall hacks are nice, but if he's not chasing somebody, he's most likely teleporting around the map and being stealthy, so being on cams probably isn't the safest place to be, not gonna lie. There's also a battery, but as long as there's no more than 2 people just sitting on cams for more than 10 seconds, it almost never runs out. I've maybe had that shit run out like maybe 3 or 4 times. Plus, Survive with Friends have callouts, so the aura most likely won't be needed by them either. But the biggest thing is the fact that the survivors can teleport against him, which can be super very strong. I don't think I have the footage, but there was this one time where I was in an end game and there was a Nia looping Springtrap at Shack, which is in front of one of the doors. So I used the camera to reveal him. Nia had information with the wall hacks, saw that he was mind gaming himself, so she ran away from Shack, and obviously he followed her to keep up chase, and since they left Shack, I then teleported to Shack, opened the door by Shack, and I ended up getting out. Like, that kind of thing, that gameplay loop is actually just very unique and very fun. This kind of gameplay is only possible against Springtrap, and that's why I think he's pretty fun to go against. The teleport's really good. Also, if you're going against Springtrap, run in the direction where you think he spawned. Do not use a door off rip, because that's what he's gonna be doing. So if you run to where you think he spawned, when he teleports away to find somebody, you can safely get 1 gen done for free. This works almost every game. It only doesn't work if they don't teleport off rip. If they don't teleport off rip, well, a generator's still gonna get done. So having one person run to where they think he spawned is actually a really solid idea, because Afton's either gonna chase them or he's gonna teleport away and they get a gen done near that door for free. Also, when looping him, he is very strong, but I never had a feeling where there was absolutely nothing I can do or stuff I could improve upon. Like, don't get me wrong, he still gets that hit or get hit situation that Huntress can kind of put you in, although I don't think it's quite as strong as hers. I think it's about equal strength, maybe slightly less as strong. Whenever I feel like there's nothing I could do, usually it's because the palette I'm at is dog shit. I've been playing both sides, but mostly Survivor for the blood point bonus and the queue time, and I must say, balance-wise, I don't like this map, dude. Like, it's definitely one of my favorite maps just because of how it looks. It's Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. It's one of my favorite maps. But this map is so big that if your killer doesn't have a teleport like Wraith doesn't, or have any mobility like Wraith does, then you're really gonna feel how big it is. Whoa, pause. But in return, there's only like 4 or 5 good pallets on this map, bro. Well, at least against Springtrap. Like, what is this pallet gonna do against him, bro? What is this? Looks like we have a map that's gonna be harder for L1 killers. Sorry, Wraith. But for taller anti-loot killers, this map isn't gonna be difficult to deal with at all. It's just kind of massive. Foxy also isn't in the pizzeria, so maybe this confirms we're gonna get that Blight Foxy skin. Maybe, hopefully, maybe, please. And for a new main building, these pallets are fucking ass, bro. The one in the middle is okay. I have the most success looping this one somehow, even though it's like probably not that strong against certain killers. But all the other ones just look like unsafe god pallets, if that makes any sense. Because a good survivor could still keep you here for over 10 to 20 seconds if played right, which is really good. So if anything, these pallets are just gonna tell you if you're ass or not, and I'm kind of ass. Also, this gen right here to the right of the building, get that done as soon as possible. It's surrounded by a pretty shitty loop, either to the left or right of it, and it's always gonna be shitty. And then when you go to the right to the main building, you go to the bathroom where there's nothing there, or you go to the ball pit room where basement might be. So number 1, it's not safe, and number 2, it's a 50-50 chance whether there's gonna be a god pallet or a window there. And that god pallet still isn't safe against like Kaneki and Wesker, you know? So some killers can even just play around it. The window's pretty decent though, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I think that gen is like one of the most important gens to get done, and the one in the main building, since there's so many different ways to attack that gen that a killer could surprise you from any direction. The AFK system is a good change, but it definitely does need some tweaking. I had a game where I was on Hook 2nd stage and Ada was being chased. She was currently on her 1st stage, and we had a Rebecca that hasn't been hooked yet, just crouching around the map scared, even though Ada was obviously getting chased, until eventually she did get me because Ada was juicing and she had 2 crows above her head even though she never stopped moving. She does deserve them since she was doing pretty much nothing, so I think it's a decent change. However, I was in a different scenario next game where I was getting hard tunneled. I got rescued and healed, and since I was on death hook with 3 gens left, I decided to hide with off the record because obviously I want to win. However, I started getting crows. I know I wasn't really doing much but hiding, but I was still moving, but I kept getting crows. So why is the killer getting notifications where I am? Feels like a system can unintentionally help tunneling killers, which is pretty much what we're trying to counteract, right? So if you're dead on Hook, the AFK system should be disabled for you. Good luck trying to tunnel me again, Wraith. For the go next prevention, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing change because survivors giving up on Hook against the Wraith is pretty fucking funny. But I had a game where I had someone who got tunneled and they died. Me and another survivor were on Hook, our 1st stage. I don't really remember how we got rolled like that, but we did. And the last survivor was a bot because the person disconnected. So me and the guy on Hook were forced to sit there for 2 minutes while this bot was on the other side of RPD jacking off to a picture of Ada on the wall. So maybe if one of your teammates is a bot, or like one's a bot and one's dead or 2's dead, you should just be able to give up. And the bulk blood point spending, it's amazing. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Also, I almost forgot, all killers are getting a buff because now that survivors spawn pretty damn close to each other, and when killers are gonna have some extra time at the beginning to apply some pressure or put down their traps without survivors getting on 4 different fucking gens, and by the time you get one down, 3 gens get done. And it helps certain M1 killers like stalk killers also to get a lot of stock off rip because people's gonna be grouped up, which is a good change, but it's just gonna make killers like Nurse and Blight even stronger, so we really gotta look into nerfing those killers. What's next is we nerf his power, nerf his movement, nerf his TP, add a cooldown to his TP, nerf his stealth, nerf his tear radius, nah, but I think he's fine overall. I would put him in like high B tier, low to mid A tier if you're really good at him. He shouldn't get any immediate nerfs or buffs when he comes to release, maybe just some animation fixes. We've had multiple instances where the killer wasn't fun to play against, but they still weren't overpowered, but because people kept whining and whining, they got nerfs anyway. And it is a kind of little bit of a bummer that we have no new survivor along with this map, but we gotta remember we have a chapter coming with 2 survivors next. That's either going to be 3 perks with like 2 skins, or it's going to be 2 survivors with 6 perks. I'm positive it's going to be 2 survivors with 6 perks, and I guarantee some of them are going to be really insane. So survivor mains, don't worry, y'all are going to be eating soon. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the PTB. I've been having a lot of fun on it. I've been playing both sides, as I told you, mainly survivor though, and this is one of the few killers that I actually think he's really fun to play against. He's kind of like the opposite of Kaneki, and yeah, I think the way he's designed is really good. His sound design is is really good. Everything about this killer is good. The map is like okay, I guess, because it's kind of ass for both sides, so I guess it evens out a little bit. But yeah, for other people who have played the PTB who's watching this, what do you guys think about the PTB? I've been having a lot of fun playing this. I don't even want to go back to the regular game yet. Like, I just want to, can we just release this? Nah, but it's nice to see Dead by Daylight go in the right direction. Marvel Rivals has been pretty fucking ass lately, so I'm literally just gonna be playing DBD. But let me know you guys' thoughts on the PTB and changes that you want or don't want, or just your opinions on everything. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day.
It started when we were younger.